to Collider Live. It is Friday. Bienvenidos. Feliz Viernes. Happy Friday. I'm Dorina, your host. Hoping that I do not get impeached this week for being so salty on the space movie. But I still hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that everybody enjoys all the art and all the movies. And I'm very happy to be here with my friends Perri Nemiroff.
Hi.
Hey,
Perri.
So happy
What's
when
up,
she's
Perri?
here.
Was I on last Friday?
Yes, you were.
Okay. That happened last week.
I don't
It's
remember
cool.
yesterday,
2 weeks in a
so-
row.
I know.
I don't remember what we covered on Movie Talk 5 minutes ago.
There you go. I don't remember what I did 2 minutes ago. Am I hosting? So, we also have the great Mark Reilly.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday.
How are
Yay.
you? How's it going?
I'm good. I
Yeah?
see that. Welcome, everybody in the chat.
We actually
Please.
have a live chat again.
We have a live chat. Please
Yes.
be nice.
Oh, you guys turned it off too. Everyone turned
We
it
turned
off.
it
we were
off every
turning it
day
off for the-
except for today.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because, before I talk about our exciting interview that's planned for the day, we also have Christian Ruvalcaba in the booth with
What up?
Alex
What
Marzoña.
up?
How you guys doing?
Woo, woo!
Christian,
Woo, woo!
what's up, dude?
Woo!
How
You
did-
see Alex's mustache? Oh my God! Look at that thing.
Alex's
I'm gonna
mustache.
Lick it off your face.
Is better than Henry Cavill's. I'll just say it
mean,
right now.
I think so. Not better than Tom Selleck's, but better than
Not-
Henry Cavill's.
no.
Yes. Very happy to have you, Christian. Cody is off doing some probably daddy stuff.
Some daddy
Some
stuff.
daddy stuff. Not the hot kind, though, huh?
I don't know.
Well, you're right. I hope he is.
Some
Because
what?
he should
Some-
have a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
He deserves
Anyways.
a break. Yeah.
But no, I'm actually very excited about today's episode because we are interviewing Forrest Galante.
Yeah.
And he is a real life superhero. If you guys don't know who he is a wildlife expert, and he has this really cool show on Animal Planet called Extinct or Alive.
Yep.
And anything to do with nature, wildlife stuff is fascinating to me. Like, I love watching Blue Planet, and I love watching all these because I'm terrified of it, but I'm fascinated by it as well.
Right.
And I think people like him, like Forrest, are real life superheroes for it.
They are. I went immediately to the shark episodes. What about you, Dorina? Do you like sharks?
He's friends with all my enemies. He's friends with sharks. He's friends with snakes.
I know.
But that's what's so. That's
You don't
what's,
like sharks and snakes?
It's not. Here's the thing. I grew up terrified of them, thanks
Why?
to Jaws and
Okay.
Anaconda and all the movies.
Specifically because of movies?
I think so. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure it out. It could be some other deep-rooted traumatic issues, But no, I think that's why. But it's interesting now having to see movies and being forced to see movies for my job, and actually having to watch. Like, I had to watch these episodes with him in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, he's just chilling with snakes, and I have to. What are you doing, Christian?
I thought someone sneezed
No,
at
is that
I know.
a
I
hiss?
thought I did. I thought somebody
No.
sneezed in the booth, and I was like, "Just go with it.
Oh,
it's
I
fine.
can't.
Nobody
It's the
heard."
worst.
but-
Dorina, do you have a fear of cats now?
Ah!
Oh my God.
Do you have a fear of cats?
Oh, that's the worst.
Do you?
No, I love cats.
So did
So the movie didn't change anything for you?
No, I love cats in general, but I was terrified of the movie Cats. I think
Yeah.
it's the best horror movie of 2019.
It might be.
wasn't it great how Good Morning America took that
Apparently
little soundbite there
we were on Good Morning America
for a
this
hot
morning.
second. Hot second.
For
we
a
were
hot
on.
second,
Let's
Christian,
play it.
let's watch ourselves be idiots on live, not live, but on national television.
Yeah, I was just sitting there like a
Forget,
moron.
with reviews like these, putting the ow in meow.
Horrifying, the stuff of nightmares.
I felt like a parasite was eating my brain while I was watching this movie.
Yes, critics
Oh,
have
Dan
there's-
Casey's on there, a friend from Nerdist.
Yeah.
I saw Roth in the background, too.
Yeah, I did
That's-
too. That's like all of the YouTube like nerd community is basically complaining about this movie, but also I still had fun at that screening. Didn't you, Perri?
I had so much fun that I'm catching myself recommending it to people.
Me too.
Hands down, one of the worst movies I've seen all year, but I can't stop talking about
Same.
it.
I think it's awesomely bad, and everyone should watch this ridiculous movie.
Wait, one of the polls they did for a quote was probably the greatest poll I've seen.
What was it?
Worst thing to happen to cats since dogs. That's amazing.
That is a good one.
That is a good one.
That is pretty good, even though I love both of them equally, but still. No,
Dogs are the best.
I know. Hey, Christian, are you happy you're in that clip?
No. I don't like the attention.
I don't either.
I really don't. Especially, I don't even have a fucking beard. God damn it.
You just shaved it up, too.
Yeah,
you
man.
messed up, man.
Sorry.
I just look like some asshole on the internet.
Yeah, you do.
Damn it.
Now, a beardless asshole is what you look
Yeah.
like. Before you were a bearded asshole.
I know.
But no, thank you, Good Morning America. I guess, like, hey, stop that, Christian. It's freaking me out. I don't like hissing and snakes. But speaking of Forrest Galante, I actually am really interested in talking to him because
me too.
I feel like we all are scared of certain animals. Some people are scared of bugs, right? Some people are scared of snakes, etc. But why? Right? I think it's a fascinating thing where it's like we see a cute fluffy puppy or a koala bear and we are like, oh, that's cute. I'll go say hi. Why don't we go say hi to these other creatures, right?
Because they'll eat you.
And because bees have stingers and they're going to, like, poke me. I don't want that.
Is that what you're scared of?
Yeah.
Bees?
Specifically bees.
It's only bees.
Just bees.
Just bees.
Bees and the dentist. And I swear to God, if you play a dentist drill, I'm going to lose my mind and walk out of this room.
Please do.
Christian,
I'm
I think
very
you know
scared.
what you need to do. There's
I can
one.
deal-
So how
I
do you
can
watch
deal with that.
Candyman?
I like Candyman quite a bit.
I was gonna say you love that movie, Tony Todd, man.
I think
we bond over
I think
Tony.
Candyman in particular is so good that
Right.
I can't say no to it because there's bees in it. But I don't know, it's just about.
There it is.
It's not nice.
Perry,
He
you got to
hissed
know
on
by
my
now.
ear.
You can't say. Don't play that sound that freaks me out because the Booth Boys are going to go do it.
You know they're
and
gonna
this is
do
why
it.
I love them.
Well, so wait, Perry.
Can I put them back on?
Yeah, you're fine. I won't
He
do that.
says
You're
you're fine
fine.
and he won't do it again.
I really don't like. If you guys saw me at my last dentist appointment, it was bad.
so
bad.
what is so scary about it? It's the fact that you think it's gonna hurt.
So I'm convinced I know where the fear came from. When I was a tiny child, and you know when you go to a pediodontist instead of a regular dentist, a regular dentist. That's kind of funny.
It's funny. It's a good word. I'm also scared of the dentist.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the key to
The
getting out of
dentist?
my
Just call him a
When
dentist.
I went to the pedia, I'm not
There-
going to say it.
Call him a
When I
pedia.
went to a kid dentist,
Right.
Okay.
I'm convinced, because I had cavities as a kid, I'm convinced they only did the paint on Novocaine and not the shot Novocaine, which gives you a different kind of numbness. So I really do believe I felt more pain as a kid.
Right.
So it freaks me out.
So it is literally the pain that you're afraid of.
I'm afraid of the pain, but I just walking into the office for a cleaning just scares the crap out of me.
Do the shots bother you?
Funny thing is, no. It is strictly when a dentist touches my teeth. I could sit there all day and get shots in my gums,
Right.
no problem.
It's just the
It's
teeth,
just the
like the
teeth.
clinking
Yeah.
and all that. That's fascinating
Yeah.
because you just went bungee jumping and you just did all the
I know.
crazy things. But
I
then
would
dentists.
go bungee jumping 20 times over
That's
rather
incredible.
than sitting through a 15-minute cleaning.
So now, let me ask you this: are you afraid of Little Shop of Horrors?
I do find the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors quite unpleasant.
I was gonna say because that's a great scene.
That
Steve Martin,
upsets
Bill
me,
Murray.
and as much as I love Final Destination 2, that sequence gets me a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What about you, Mark?
What?
What are you
What?
afraid
Dentist?
of?
No. What am I
Other
afraid
than
of?
death, of course.
Other than death, just death across the board. Just think about it. It's kind of one of those things where someday I'm going to die, and that fucking terrifies me.
But hopefully we all go somewhere cool, man.
I hope so.
Wherever Schnepp is
Yeah.
where I'm hoping
yeah,
we all go.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope he has a glass of wine waiting for me, man. That's all I
Exactly,
want.
yeah.
Sharks are, I'm fascinated by sharks, so I,
I mean,
went
you love
right
Jaws.
to. I love Jaws. But when I go in the ocean, I can't help but but it doesn't stop me. But I just had a pop in my in my microphone.
I had a
if
pop
I
in
go
my brain, it's
if
all
I
good.
go in the ocean, I do get a little of the heebie-jeebies like when I consider what's under
Because you
there.
can't see anything and you don't know what could
I
get
would
you.
trade my bee fear for your shark fear any day. Because, sharks you can actively avoid and are not a daily presence in your life.
They're not going to show up on a pool.
A bee
You're right.
can pop up anywhere. So
Yeah, bees don't scare me.
Did you remember recently when I had the bee problem in my apartment?
Yes, I do.
I was afraid to walk up to my door because there were nests in the stairwell leading up to my apartment, and the building wouldn't take care of it. And I just
Damn.
I was not going to go to my apartment.
So where did you just sleep somewhere else?
I mean, eventually I had to suck it up to go in and feed Dewey.
Well, I was
but
gonna
but
say.
I must have looked like a crazy person doing that because I would have my coat over my head and I would run to the door and fiddle with the keys. It was awful.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Christian, Alex, what about you guys? Are you afraid of anything?
Oh yeah, Alex. I'm afraid of Alex.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
what
kind of scary.
about with that mustache though?
Anyways, I'm actually afraid of spiders. I don't like spiders.
I was going there,
Specifically
Christian. Yeah.
spiders.
Yeah, I don't fuck with spiders.
Oh, I think they're so pretty.
That one, I shared a picture when I was like hanging out with my dad's because there was a web from the car in the parking lot to the garage was parking lot, the driveway, and there was like 2 gigantic spiders that I wanted to kill with fire.
But you
because I
didn't,
almost
right?
walked. No, I let them be.
I know.
Because I don't want to anger the army of spiders that might back them up.
And you don't want to disrupt nature.
Right. They're there
That's
for
why-
a reason.
that's why I stopped
Spiders
killing
are there
bugs.
for a reason.
I
they're
used
not.
to kill bugs when I was a kid, just like a little asshole. And I was like, oh, there's like a black widow, because where we grew up in Mexicali desert, there was a lot of poisonous
Yeah, I can't
not
do that.
snakes, but like
What
but
do you
bugs.
do when there's a bug in your apartment, though?
So I try to just take it out.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I stopped killing them because eventually
Yeah.
I found actual like respect for life.
I
Right.
try
But-
really hard not to kill them.
Yeah.
I'll do like the double cup scoop,
Yeah.
and I'll try to like catch it in a cup and then put it over the balcony
Yeah.
and drop it into the apartment below me.
Yeah, you're
Which I
like,
guess is now that I'm thinking about it, what I'm
go
essentially
visit my
doing.
neighbor, little spider. Yeah.
I've learned now that I have a really great pest. Leia, she eats spiders.
Oh.
So the other day there was a daddy long legs, and I was trying to just get it with a Kleenex, but Leia ate it. It was
So
really.
you're like, I guess
I was
I'm-
like, well, that takes care of
That's
that.
nature.
Yeah,
too,
she's just like,
right? Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Gross dog, but thanks.
Daddy.
yeah. Is that what
Wait,
Leia
was
sounds
that
like?
me or who is that, Christian?
I don't know. Alex just told me there's a soundbite in here that says "daddy." Alex, you want to explain?
That's a Roxy soundbite.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, see, Roxy's here in spirit.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Didn't
She's
sound
always
like
here
her.
in spirit. It didn't. I was confused. Alex, you got any animal fears?
No. There.
Sorry? Animal fears? Yeah, spiders suck. Bees suck.
So-
That's pretty much
but
like
what do you
insects.
guys-
I hate outdoors, being outdoors.
But what do you guys do then? Like, do you kill them or do you just kind of let it be?
Oh, I
and
fucking kill him. Fuck nature.
you do?
Kill
Yeah,
'em.
screw that shit.
Nah.
Just run away.
I won't kill.
I used to be
to
like you, Christian.
What, an asshole?
No, I am still an
Oh,
asshole,
with
but I used to
animals,
be. Yeah,
oh.
but I now have a little bit more respect for things that are alive.
We used to get like crickets in our place all the time, and I never killed those. I always just grabbed those with my hand. Like
There's
those
a cricket
never
in the
bothered me.
studio, There's a cricket in Studio B.
Do you know my
Oh,
mom?
man.
He was just hanging out the other day.
We were so scared of my
I was
mom when
sitting
we were
with you.
kids, and
Is she a spider?
no,
Oh.
she's awesome, but she was just strict when we were kids.
Right,
but great mom, but she she was stressed out. She's a single mom, so she would sometimes like the fire
Same with
and
my
the,
mom, yeah.
the, Hispanic Latino
Oh,
fire.
good Lord, yeah.
But when we were trying to sleep all in the same bed, like my mom, my brother, and her when we were kids, there was a cricket that would not shut up, and she literally shut him up. Like she just went shh, like she's like cállate. And then it just stopped. It stopped doing a thing. So
Yeah.
there you go. See, you don't have to kill them. You just have to talk to them or yell at them
okay.
in Spanish.
I'm gonna try that approach the next time I find a spider.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's not scary, Christian. But anyways, so we actually have a very short show today because it's Friday, unfortunately, and Forrest is coming in a few minutes.
Right.
Very exciting. But before we talk about a little bit about some news, we do have something to plug, and that is look at Mark Reilly's beautiful
Come on.
bomber jacket.
HeroesVillains.com, folks. This is like I'm stealing this.
So
I am
that's
going to
not
steal
yours?
this. No, we're sharing
should
it
take
for
it.
I am going to take it.
It's really cool.
I might take one of those. I
This
think
is
that's
my
my favorite thing.
This is like my favorite, and especially today, you could really, really save if you
That's
get
true.
especially this jacket.
I know. I want the Star Trek one too.
The Star
'cause that
Trek one
one's
is pretty
great.
cool.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
have Star Wars stuff. They got Star Trek stuff, Batman, Joker, all the things. And today specifically, there is 20% off everything on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, if you use code LIVE10 to support Collider Live, so we can beat the other shows. Sorry, Perri, because she's on
Talk
Movie
10,
Talk.
talk 10.
No, Live 10. So you can use that discount code. You get another 10% off. So go to heroesvillains.com, buy some cool presents for yourself, for your family, for Christmas. Thank you, heroesvillains.com. You guys are always awesome to us, and we love your stuff.
Thank you.
Anything else to plug? There is a new deepfake out there.
Oh God, this one's hysterical.
Salty George Lucas that I actually think it's pretty funny. Our very talented Frank, the editor, worked on this. Fuck you, Frank, for being so talented. And it's up on Collider Video. It's actually what's our friend's name's Josh Robert Thompson,
Yeah.
who's very funny, and he's walking around outside the AMC Burbank, and he's talking to people about Rise of Skywalker because he didn't get invited to the premiere. It's actually pretty great. You guys should check that out.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's the funniest part for me was I was there, was getting people were walking by going, what's going on right now? That's my favorite. Yeah. My favorite is going out in public and filming something that is so like sticking out like a sore thumb.
Right.
And people just going, what's going on? What's going on? And he's carrying around a baby Yoda. It's just perfect.
It's so
perfect.
good. But he actually kind of looked like him already with the beard and the hair.
Definitely does.
Without the deep fake, So it is kind of funny. Because he was interviewing people. Like he was interviewing just people walking around. So good for them because that's brave. I don't do that. We just show up on Good Morning America and then we're terrified of it. So what do we got today, Mark?
Well, you like that space movie, right? No, right? It's The Rise of Skywalker, though. Box office, Thursday night opening numbers are in, and it's looking pretty good. It actually is the 5th highest opening Thursday of all time. It did beat Avengers Infinity War, which went ahead and made $2 billion later on, so that's a good sign. Rise of Skywalker, with its $40 million estimated right now, is behind the Force Awakens, which was $57 million, which kind of makes sense because it was the first Star Wars movie that came out. And it was around The Last Jedi, which was at about $45 million. So it's on track to be a huge opening. So these numbers are kind of the precursor to that. Perri, I know you're a big box office person. What do you make of these numbers?
These numbers are solid. I still think that it's going to come in behind Last Jedi.
I think so too.
My final prediction wound up being $190 million, which I still think is a possibility. I just have a feeling that a lot of people are going to see it with great urgency Thursday night, Friday, and all through the weekend. But I still don't think that this one is going to have the repeat viewings necessary to really propel it forward.
I wonder. I was bracing for impact. And I got to say right now on my Twitter with some of the mentions from our spoiler review, you guys have been great. Like, people are having fun. They're talking about, the flaws in the movie, and some people are like, F it, I love it. Some people are like, oh, I get it. There's some flaws there, but I'm having fun. But I'm just seeing like a lot of people enjoying Star Wars, and that just makes me happy.
That's kind of how I feel.
That's
it's
all
like
I
even
want.
if I didn't like the movie, I still like I said on the spoiler review yesterday for Collider that I'm hoping gets erased forever. But
I mean,
because that Reilly and I were on with Dennis and Roca. But I think that I didn't like it. I want people to like it. I don't want people to not be happy. I want people to enjoy it. So I still was liking my friends' photos on Instagram yesterday where they're all going to see this movie with their families. Like it's about, that's what it's about. It's a movie going experience with your friends, with your loved ones. Even if the movie, whatever you think of it, good or bad, it's all about what you're sharing in that moment. So I'm happy for the people doing that. And it also, I do have to agree with you, Mark, that apart from some of the really messy comments, I feel like most people that have either tweeted at us or on Facebook or even in the shithole universe that is YouTube comments.
Wait, you went there?
Oh yeah, I love it there.
What's it like?
It's just,
is it scary?
It's
Don't
pretty
go
scary.
back.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary. It's almost as scary as sharks and snakes, but it's actually kind of funny too.
Yeah, I mean, I would take my weapons in with me if Yoda told me not to. I would still take my weapons with me into the YouTube chat because I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm going to learn the hard way. I'm not going to do that though. So.
No, but a lot of people are like, oh, I actually loved it, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and other people are like, oh, I agree with you. But a lot of people have been pretty respectful. So good job. Good job
Internet.
out there, universe.
Yeah.
Internet universe. And then, of course, some people are like, why is this person talking? They disagree with me. I'm like, because it's our job to review it. We literally have to review it. We can't not be not honest about it. So we got to say whether we liked it or not, right?
Right.
So there you go.
I'm jealous. I was in the wrong video, apparently.
Oh, no.
Ours
Perri.
was not pretty.
Was that for Movie Talk or?
No, I did a review with Emma. And
Okay.
I thought it was a great review.
Like a non-spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
were you get? I felt like
they are not kind.
I felt like there was
It's all good. It's all
for a
good.
minute there though before it really opened. I saw a lot of people that hadn't seen it and were kind of like already going in on it because maybe they read some spoilers or some leaks. I felt like there was something that happened with leaks, and they were saying like they were upset about that.
People were leaking stuff. I think the second we walked out of the premiere screening,
Yes.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I saw
how do you do
legit
that?
images circulating out there.
How are you
Messed
invited
up.
to a Star Wars premiere and then you do that?
I don't
I
know.
don't even understand how that would have been possible for someone in the theater.
I wasn't at the premiere. Phones were gone.
taken and locked away.
Interesting.
Not everybody does it,
And
though.
it's-
I mean,
it's
I
just so
never
not-
give up
not
my phone, but
cool.
I just turn it off. I just have it with me. I turn it off.
Oh wait,
But-
you don't.
Yeah, I usually just have
I
it on
usually
repeat.
just silence my
Don't they
phone. but
make you
certain,
at the
yeah.
premiere?
Yeah, certain screenings they give you like that mitten thing, and you got to
Yeah.
put your phone in there, and it gets locked.
Yeah, I still don't give it up.
It is what it is.
But I turn it off.
Tell me your ways.
I'm very sneaky, Perry. So we got about 5 minutes before we go to break.
Yeah.
So maybe let's take some calls, Christian. Do you mind opening up the phone lines,
Yeah,
please?
sure. Let's plan that.
Is
Hold
that
on.
cool? We don't have to if you don't want to, because you are
Salty
the booth boy.
Christian.
You are
No.
the booth boy today.
We're
I
gonna-
got it.
You
Yeah,
get to
just-
do what you want.
Yeah.
I can do it.
How's the show going in there, Christian? What do you want to do?
We'll take some calls.
Great,
that
thank
sounds
you.
like a good idea.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a great idea, Christian.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
I
for
came up
thinking
with
of that. Yeah, that's like you're so smart. That's why you're here.
You two are funny. I like
This
the.
is basically when I'm on the Wangers podcast. This is what happens.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
treat our guests like shit.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We got a call.
I wouldn't know.
Hey, you are on Collider Live. Where are you calling from? Who are you? What's your name? How's it going?
Got the hot finger 2 days in a row. It's Troy from Boston.
Hey, all right. 2 days in a row. I love this.
How's it going? You got Mark, Perry, Christian, Alex.
Doing pretty good. Glad to see you guys are in a happy mood. I am as well. I enjoyed the movie last night. I don't want to talk too much about it.
The movie.
The movie.
Glad you
The
enjoyed
movie
it.
that won't be named.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I'm kind of nostalgic and old school, so I was flipping through all my movie stubs from the past couple of years. And I noticed every now and then I go on sprees. I average like once a week, but every now and then I go on really good sprees. So I wanted to share with you mine, see which one you guys thought was best, and then maybe see if you had any memorable ones. I'm sure Perry does with all the festivals she goes to.
Nice.
Go on a
So,
spree,
just
as
to-
in see a whole bunch of movies really quickly, saving stubs.
Exactly, yeah. 2 or 3 movies in like 2 or 3 days, exactly.
Okay. I'm trying to
Okay.
think. Go.
Like,
Okay, so give us yours, and while we're thinking.
Just last month, saw Knives Out and Ford versus Ferrari in back-to-back days. Both very enjoyable films
a
that I
good
was
one.
surprised by. Last year, I had a pretty good pairing of A Quiet Place and Avengers Infinity War. But I think my all-time best was in 2017. I saw a midnight showing of It, and then the following night did a back-to-back run with Logan Lucky and The Big Sick.
Nice.
That's good.
Those are pretty good movies. Thank you for the call. What are you guys
Thanks,
thinking?
I'm trying to think.
He's not. Yeah, my mind definitely goes to festivals. I think one of my favorite days at Sundance, and I'm pretty sure these are the right titles, but one day at Sundance, we had the interview suite open all day. So I'm like the happiest person in the world
Yeah.
doing interviews for however many hours. And then immediately from there, I went and I saw Honey Boy. And then immediately after Honey Boy, I went and saw Little Monsters. So it's just
Ooh.
like between those two movies and all the interviews, it's one of the best days ever.
That's pretty cool. I guess
Yeah.
similar to that experience as my first Fantastic Fest this year, and where for the actual premiere night, I got to see Jojo Rabbit, which is one of my favorite movies of the year. Beautiful
Same
movie
here.
that everyone should see. And then right after that, I got to see Takashi Miike's new movie this year, First Love, which I don't know if you've gotten a
I
chance to
have
see
not
it yet.
watched it yet.
But it's fantastic. I'm calling it the Japanese True Romance. It's my favorite romantic
I
comedy
could
of
see
the
that
year.
being the case.
Yeah, it's super violent. It's super funny. I loved it a lot. What
Man,
about
I
you,
want
Mark?
to go to Fantastic Fest.
I know.
Next year.
It's far
Next
away.
year, 2020.
I mean, the run I just did was Jojo Rabbit and Parasite, like kind
Great.
of back to back. I mean, because I know I can't remember doing it in theaters, to be honest with you, but just recently getting those two that I really wanted to see, finally seen, and having them jump into my top 5
Right.
immediately was so much fun.
Yeah, no, those are pretty great movies.
They're
if you
two
guys
of the
haven't
best.
seen it, you guys have
They're
to
so
see it.
fantastic.
Christian, Alex, anything?
What did I do? I saw Parasite and another movie on the same day. I can't remember. My life kind of sucks. Oh, I saw Star Wars and 1917 the same day, so it was kind
That's
of like
pretty
a
good.
Ooh,
low, then an extreme high. Not a low, a medium, and then an extreme high.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
1917 fucks. Alex?
I'm looking at my spreadsheet. I got a fighting.
He's got a
Do you have a
spreadsheet.
movie spreadsheet,
You
Alex?
guys haven't seen this shit?
Nerd.
No.
This is the
Such a
greatest thing on the
nerd.
planet.
Oh yeah, I got. Let's see. Oh my God, where was I? Fighting with my family in Roma. I did in a day.
All
That
right.
was fun.
That's
in
a good one.
theaters.
Wait, so is this a sheet that you keep for the year of your favorite movies?
Yeah, I have it for this year and last year.
And you
Wow.
have the dates that you saw these movies on
And
it?
all the money I spent on it too.
He's got like how many times he's seen the movie, how many times he's been to the theater, how many chicks he takes to these. Oh, I mean, no, I'm sorry. Oh my
Whoa.
God. No, I'm just kidding. That's a lie. That was a joke.
I don't have any friends.
It's okay, Christian. Me
geez.
either. It's fine. No,
Alex
you.
said that, not me.
Oh, Alex, you do have friends. You have us.
What are you talking about,
okay.
man?
Acquaintances, really, more than anything.
Oh,
We got another
anyway.
call.
Oh, we got another call. You're on Collider Live. What's your name? How's it going?
I'm Ledrick from Florida.
Wait, what's your name?
Ledrick from Florida.
Liedrich?
Ledrick.
Liedrich.
Liedrich.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
a cool
Very-
name.
Very cool name, Liedrich.
How are you? How's it going?
Yes, I have a question for Perry. First one is, if you wasn't, I know you host movie talk and you go by the book, no cursing. But if you were hosting Collider Live, would you be carefree and curse?
If I am given permission,
Great question,
the
Ledrick.
F-bombs will rain. I feel
Fuck
like
yeah, Perry. Come on.
I should
Let
tell,
loose, Perry.
I
Drop
should
some-
tell my mom to let everybody know how mad she is about my super foul mouth, because apparently I drop F-bombs all the time.
Do you? Look,
With your family, though.
It's incredible how you could just turn it on and off, though.
Yeah, I can't.
Because I do. I say the F word all the time.
It's hard. The other day, my fiance said I curse like a sailor. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I kind of do.
I
I'm
do it in both
surprised.
English and Spanish, too.
It's only slipped out on Movie Talk once, and it was well worth it. Have you seen the clip where I caught a fly?
No.
Yeah.
It's the most,
You caught a fly with your hand?
I think that might
What are
be,
you, MacGyver?
I think it might be one of my favorite clips of all
Daniel
of Collider
LaRusso, man.
video
Yeah.
of 2019. I was sitting there, as a fly going around the set, and I went like that, and then I looked at my hand and I said something like, "Oh fuck, I got it." And then I got all mad at myself for saying that on the
Right.
show. But the clip lives on, and it's glorious.
Oh, man, I hope Alex finds it, because he's looking
it's
it up.
somewhere. I think
But
it's
yeah.
on one of the channels.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the call. That was a great question because
And a great name,
we obviously hang out. Yes, we obviously hang out with Perry outside of the office, and we go to beer festivals and
Just a few of those.
And that's when I hear your words come out. It's fun for me. There
I
it
don't
is.
remember any of those words.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, I think this is it. There's a fly in my face. You saw it. It's right here. I did. I fucking caught it.
I'm safe.
Haley's so happy.
Look at her face.
And just about
Perry,
right now, Mr. Miyagi steps in and goes, beginner's luck.
Exactly. Oh, man. And with that, we're actually going to go to break, guys,
Yep.
because Forrest Galante is coming on the show. We're very excited. Wildlife expert, superhero of the world. We will be right back. Welcome back to Collider Live. We're very happy that Forrest Galante is joining us.
Hey, Forrest,
Wildlife
welcome.
expert, real life superhero,
Oh, my
lover of
goodness.
animals. So excited you're here.
I'm definitely the third one. I'm definitely a lover of animals. I don't know about
good.
superhero and expert, but no, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. This is lots of fun.
Well, the fact that you swim with sharks, that puts you at superhero
Exactly.
level for me.
There you go.
Couldn't do it. I mean, and it depends on the shark, but what you were doing with looking for the Pondicherry shark, I was like, no, I'm not.
Well, you could do it because you have done it. If you swim in the ocean, you swim with sharks.
Oh, that's terrifying
See,
to
that's
hear.
very true. And kind of what you were talking about when
Yes.
you're like, what are you afraid of? Like when I'm in the ocean, I'm like, there's sharks here. I know.
There
that.
are.
I know.
There
Yeah.
are. That's their domain.
But that's what's so crazy. So before you came in, I was saying that I was so excited to talk to you because a lot of us grow up with these fears of certain animals, right?
Sure.
Like I grew up being scared of like sharks and snakes, thanks to Jaws and Anaconda and all
Yeah.
these movies, right? That I'm sure are very accurate.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're not.
They're documentaries.
Of course. But I did see your video, but that I believe was on GQ, where you're breaking down
Yeah.
animal scenes
Yeah.
in all of these movies, like The Shallows and Jaws and Anaconda.
Yep.
And it was fascinating to hear you talk about little things like, they make the snake itself look a little bit scarier or
Right.
meaner with the eyes, but
Right.
that's not what snake eyes look like. So do you think that fear of people, or sorry, our fear that we have of other animals, is that because of movies? Is that because of media? Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a number of things. First and foremost, I think we fear what we don't understand as
Yeah.
human beings. I think that's human nature. And for most of us, as we sit here in Burbank, California, we don't understand wildlife.
Right.
We see it on TV or, we see it from a vehicle or at a zoo or whatever it is, but we don't understand it. We don't interact with it. And we don't understand how complex and intelligent creatures are. Media, of course, contributes to that. You see things like Jaws or Anaconda or whatever, and all the villain is the animal, right? And you compound that with the fact that we're just removed from it all. It gives you're like, what do you see on TV? Well, you see Jaws. Do I ever see a white shark? I do, but does the average person ever see a white shark? No. So all I know is what I've seen. I'm removed from it. I don't understand it. I don't interact with it. I'm scared of it, So I think it's a combination of factors, and I think that, I'm not trying to disparage media. I work in media. I love media.
Right.
But and it gets viewers. But I think people just need to understand, a movie's a movie. It's not, just because Jaws is depicting this man-eating killer, mega great white shark doesn't mean anything. It's just a movie. It's entertainment.
Okay, well, I'm going to work on that. But but watching your show Extinct or Alive on Animal Planet actually helps, right? Like it's kind of, you're basically educating the public into how to talk to these, or not how to treat these animals, right? And I feel like that's very impressive because I couldn't do that.
We definitely flip it on its head, you know, and what I mean by that is, so the premise of my show, Extinct or Alive, is to travel the world looking for evidence that animals deemed extinct could actually still be out there.
Yeah.
Once a creature is written off as extinct, that's the end of it, right? And there's no funding for extinct creatures. Extinct means gone, wiped off the face of the earth. So my field of interest, my passion outside of all wildlife, one that I'm very focused on, is critically endangered species on the edge of extinction. So anyway, I only tell you all this because you're like, well, why would you be interacting with dangerous sharks and snakes? Along the journey, because we go to such remote locations and we do such lengthy expeditions, we encounter a lot of these kind of feared creatures that we're talking about. And one of the things that my show does or attempts to do, and what I attempt to do as a mission statement, is to educate people that these things are not scary. They are dangerous, but they just deserve to be respected rather than feared. And, when I'm walking through a forest in Vietnam and I have a big cobra by my feet, I pick it up and show that to the audience. I go, look, this animal doesn't want to be here. This is a big, beautiful cobra that my producer almost stepped on and died, but it's because we're in his environment and he almost stepped on it. It's not because the cobra came charging out of the bushes to attack us. That's just not how it works. And so we try and communicate that message regularly because it's a good message. Like, people need to know this stuff, Like, it's animals are not just scary by being animals. They're scary because, they have their backs against the wall or we're invading their space. Like, that's just the same thing as if some guy comes into your house, Have
you ever had a fear of animals? Like, even when you were little, before you learned all of this stuff?
Well, I grew up with it, so it's hard for me to say, I'm always learning. I'm in a constant state of learning. But I'm not trying to be tough and say, no, I've never been scared of anything, because quite the opposite. But there are situations every month, every week that I work where I'm scared, without any doubt. But, being scared. I'm scared because I put myself into that situation, and I think the difference. I'm not saying like I'm fearless or anything like that. I may be brave because I work through the fear, but it's not that I'm not scared. I just take calculated risks. And to answer your question, that was a long-winded way, but to answer your question, was I ever scared of it? No, I've just always understood it and kind of pushed the limit a little bit.
But I mean, you've been basically, you've been bitten by a venomous snake. You've been on a plane crash.
Two plane crashes.
Jesus, I mean, I think you've been bitten by a shark as well. Like you've had all of these experiences.
Whoa,
oh my
okay,
God,
so-
can we see that?
Okay, not that. That's a burn from cooking crab 2 nights ago. So ignore that. It's a little one above it. Yeah.
You see, and that was
That one
just in
looked
your
way-
own home.
Yeah.
So,
See.
It looks
And
more
which
badass
one's more
than it was.
dangerous, like the crab pot or the shark? You know?
But yeah, you've had all these experiences with these creatures. I mean, number one, what's the scariest one? And number two, like that hasn't stopped you from continuing your job.
No, definitely not. In fact, it inspires me, and I learn from each one, right? Each close call teaches me something. Sometimes, most of the time, it's my fault, right? Oh, okay, I pushed it too far. Here's what I did. Here's what I shouldn't have done. And I won't make that mistake again.
Okay.
Sometimes, animals are like people. Sometimes you get a grouchy one. Yeah.
Especially if you're in their environment.
Yeah,
right?
they have their own temperaments, and every species everyone's different, and everyone you learn to understand and respect and behave differently around. But to answer your question, what's the animal I'm the most scared of?
Mm-hmm.
Mosquitoes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How come?
Yeah, because are there like different species of mosquito? Well, I'm sure there are, but that are like the most dangerous down to the common one that we might have in our
They're
backyard.
all the most dangerous. I mean, not
Really?
every species, but if I go on a 3-month-long trek through the African bush, the thing that is the most likely to kill me is not a lion, it's not a buffalo, it's not a snake, it's not an elephant, it's a mosquito that gives me malaria. Right. So, and what's the one thing that I cannot avoid? It's the mosquitoes.
Right.
I can see the lion and approach and know how to do it. I'm just. That's it. That's all I got for a mosquito. A little slap on the neck or whatever. So for me, the most dangerous stuff is the small stuff. Yeah.
It usually is,
I
right?
feel like now there's going to be a lot of people staying up at night worrying about mosquitoes.
Yes, yeah, everybody
Our
is going
entire
to die.
audience.
Literally everyone that's watching this, you're all going to die.
We all are, though. We talk about this all the
That's
time.
true.
There
We
you
are.
go.
No, but look, and I mean, there's no malaria here, obviously, in the
Right.
United States, and there's very easy ways to prevent malaria. Cover up at night, take Malarone, whatever. But the point is just that it's not the big things that are scary. There's not even that many of the big things left in the world, really and truly.
Right.
It's the little things that can get you. It's the parasites, it's the mosquitoes,
Yeah.
it's dengue fever, malaria, things like that. That's the worst stuff.
Right. And I mean, so your show, Extinct or Alive Again, I mean, you're looking for these species that were supposedly extinct, and you found a couple, which is incredible.
amazing.
Thank
I mean,
you,
one of them is the Zanzibar leopard,
Yep,
right?
yep.
The other one is the Fernandina, I'm just going to read it in Spanish, tortoise.
Yep.
And so when this happened, like the first time you basically saw the headline that said, Animal Planet's Extinct or Alive actually finds its first extinct species, like what did that feel like for you?
Well, it's funny because by the time that I'd seen a headline, I was way on to the next thing already, if you know what I mean. But the feeling, so we're up to about 5 animals deemed extinct or believed, not deemed necessarily, but believed extinct that we've uncovered, which is huge.
Wow.
And I'm very proud of what myself and my team have accomplished in that realm. Very, very big for conservation. We've raised a lot of money for conservation and supported a lot of ongoing efforts. So I'm proud of that.
That's great.
As you should be.
Yeah.
But when when I first started telling people, like, I'm going to go look for extinct animals, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Lost City of Z. It's the adventure of Percy Fawcett. They made a movie about it. You guys are movie buffs, right?
Yeah.
So you remember that scene, because you're movie buffs, so I think you'll be able to relate to this. Remember that scene where he's standing up there and he's in this hall, right? And there's all these, like, stuffy guys in smoking jackets going, "You're insane, you're never gonna find it." Right? That's me when I started working. Like I'm Percy Fawcett in that situation, talking to Animal Planet, talking to various conservation groups, going, "Hey, I'm looking for extinct animals." They're, "You're insane, get out of here." So to go from that to like must have been late 2017 when we first got the footage of the Zanzibar leopard, the first animal presumed extinct that we uncovered. I was look, I'm starting to get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, and that feeling never goes away. It floored me. It absolutely floored me. Like, it made an entire life of work come to fruition in a single moment, in a single 2 or 3 second clip, whatever it was that we had that Zanzibar walk across the frame of that trail camera. It was like my entire life's work came to fruition in 2 seconds.
I mean, your reaction in the video is beautiful. I mean, you're all freaking out, right? Because it's such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And why do you think, us as humans are just so freaked out by this? It's like we think that something that was created by nature or whatever, your beliefs are.
Right.
And to see that, hey, there's this thing that we didn't even know existed or we didn't even think existed and we just found it, right? Like that's what do you think that's what keeps life magical? Do you think that's why we're so obsessed with these types of like nature documentary things?
Well, it's very romantic, right? You've got this this concept of something coming back from the dead, a Lazarus, as the Bible puts it. Like, it's very romantic. And on top of that, it's arrogant for us as human beings to say definitively something's gone. It's a big world. There's a lot of places to hide, and animals are good at hiding for the most part. And I'm not saying we should undersell extinction, because we shouldn't. It's a very serious, severe thing that people should be aware of and not take lightly. But it's very arrogant to be like, oh, I'm a Western scientist and I haven't seen this thing in 30 years. Extinct. Like that's a very like human wanting to classify something like arrogant statement. So I'm not saying that the people that do this are arrogant, because they're not. They're scientists just like myself trying to do the best thing they can. But to throw that out the window and just say, screw it, like we're going to go look for it, and then to find it, to have this creature still be there, even if it's 1 or 2 or a handful of them, it's like such a hopeful thing. Like, it inspires hope across the planet. And I think that's why our show has been so successful and the work I do has been so successful, because if there's 300 pandas left, and there's much more, but my point is, if there's 300 of a species left, and you go and film it, great. But we know there's 300 of them, right? And it's still fantastic. That animal deserves tons of support and conservation efforts. But that's less romantic, I think, than the notion that this thing is gone. There's none of them. Here it is. We found it.
Wow. And so you said aside from the 2 we mentioned, you said about 5. Can you mention the other
of course
3 that you found? Because I'm fascinated.
Yeah, so we've got the Zanzibar leopard was the first one that I uncovered. Followed by that was the Fernandina. I'm getting the order mixed up now. But anyway, Zanzibar leopard, Fernandina tortoise, the 2 that you've mentioned. One in Zanzibar, one in the Galapagos. We also found the Pondicherry shark. Or so we believe.
So you believe.
Well, what I mean by that is we're still getting genetic confirmation. I didn't have every country has its own laws and rules, and we of course try to abide by those at all times. So we weren't able to bring genetic material back to have tested. So that's still being tested in Sri Lanka, and it's a slow process. That being said, but everything's pointing to that it's a Pondicherry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It looks like it. It matches the description. The teeth line up. Blah blah blah. But anyway, Zanzibar leopard, Fernandina tortoise, Pondicherry shark. Then in the last 3 months or 2 months, what's come out publicly is we also uncovered footage of the Miller's grizzled langur, a beautiful species of monkey known as the Dracula monkey that hadn't been seen since 2012.
Ooh, good name.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Dorina just perked up.
Can we look that up, Christian or Alex? I want to see a photo of that.
They're called the Dracula monkey because they have this amazing like collar of fur, this white collar. Super cool animal. So we got footage of them, first time since 2012.
Wow.
And then the Rio Apiporus caiman, which is a large species of crocodilian not seen since the 80s.
Ooh.
So it's been
Where
been
was that?
amazing. The Colombian Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, and so is there just like what's the craziest place you've been to?
Jeez.
Because I can't imagine. I mean, we freak out when we just leave the office.
I know. Burbank's a jungle. Right? It's like we gotta watch out.
Colombian Amazon. Oh yeah, look there.
It's so cute.
The third one's the monkey. No, yeah, beautiful, beautiful animal.
So
if you go to the picture, kind of middle bottom, right below me, that one. Yep. You can see the collar there. You see the white collar where it gets the Dracula name from.
It's so fluffy.
Very fluffy. Very cool animal.
Very cool.
But I kind of take all the credit for this. Like I love what we do, and we're very good at exposing it. There's scientists we work with in the field. There's scientists that continue to manage the conservation of these species. I'm just want to say, like, we work with amazing people in the field who probably don't get highlighted as much as they should,
Yeah.
And just because I'm the hide and seek master doesn't mean they're not doing the most important work. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Or that you're not by yourself, right? You need people with you to help you.
Yeah, there's
do
all
this,
kinds of support and
Yes.
all kinds of people managing, especially once we uncover the animals. Then it's like these teams of in-country biologists and scientists get to, like, we hand it over. It's like, fix it. You know what I mean? We found it. Like, this was the key. This was the missing piece of the puzzle. Now you have the resources to manage the conservation.
It's
Now-
interesting.
oh, go ahead.
No, I wanted to know if have you had like close calls where you thought maybe that this species was a part of an extinct line and it turned out not to be? I mean, it might seem like a stupid question, but I'm wondering, since you have these scientists and experts there, is there any kind of like, because I'm looking at the Dracula monkey and I don't. It looks cool, when you say it has the fur and that classifies it. Is there like an animal that's close in species? Like, no, it's not that, actually.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, misidentification happens all the time. Is some things like the shark, for instance, we were talking about, you can barely tell it apart from other species of shark, which is why the genetics are a necessity. Other things are. Animals are confusing, but other things like the Fernandina tortoise, right? It looks similar to many of the other Galapagos tortoise species, but it's the only one to occur on that island. Tortoises can't swim, so there's no other species could be on that island. You know what I mean? So there's misidentification cases all the time. There's things that I can't tell. We get stuff on trail cameras, and me as an expert, I look at it and go, I don't know what that is. I've got the butt of something that could be an extinct saola. Okay. It could be a mountain goat. You know what I mean? It's a butt on a trail camera. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm an expert, but I'm not a butt expert.
Need more footage.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, these things definitely happen, and it's all part of it. And it's fun because, like, in the show, I'm a biologist by trade, not a TV host, not a TV presenter. I've never done anything in TV before doing biology work on television. And it's fun because in the show, I think one thing that's very underrepresented in media is wildlife science. Like, we just don't get to see a lot of it. Like we talked about at the beginning of this show, there's anaconda and jaws and all that kind of stuff. And that's not wildlife science. That's just nonsense, Like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a biologist. Like, I don't know about that, I'm thinking Jumanji. Right, and he's freaking amazing. One of my favorite actors. He's super fun to watch. And I love those kind of movies, but, that's still not. We do documentaries, like we really do. Like, our shows are follow me on this biological expedition and learn about science, learn about tools like eDNA and trail cameras and thermal drones and all these fun tools that scientists get to use. And we get to show that to the world. I think people are really like, wow, this is how real wildlife science goes. This is really cool.
Yeah. And how can people, help any of this? Like, is there ways that our audience can support these types of, the great things that you're trying to do with your team, other than watch your show?
Yeah, I wasn't even going to say that, but there's lots of stuff people can do, and that depends what position you're in. You can do everything from, choosing not to get a plastic straw or a plastic bag at the grocery store, to donating money to great organizations, to volunteering at local wildlife rescues and shelters. I mean, there's so much to do. It's like, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you can Google, like, how do I help? And there's a plethora of information that comes up right in your area, right in your backyard. You don't have to put yourself out. Like I said, things like saying no to the plastic bag at the grocery store, that in itself makes a big difference, right? There's a great quote, I forget who said it, that it's not a matter of one person doing sustainability or conservation perfectly. It's a matter of everybody doing it imperfectly that makes a big difference.
Oh,
that's great.
That's a great quote. I have a very silly question, but
Shoot.
we can't bring up extinction and mosquitoes in one conversation and not have me ask you about this.
Jurassic Park, go.
Yes. Is
her favorite movie.
How did you know? You must have
there
known Perry's.
any realistic element to that whatsoever? Do you see a future, whether it's dinosaurs or not, where they can extract DNA from something, fill the gaps with another animal, and we could see a new species?
100%.
Oh my God, you just freaked her out.
Wait a minute.
No,
you just got me. Oh my God. Okay.
No, so I don't know if you guys know this. Jurassic Park's actually a documentary.
Oh yeah, I did.
No.
Like, wait, we're all like, really? Yes.
No, but there is zero doubt in my mind that in the foreseeable future, like our children's generation, de-extinction, which is an actual term, will be a real thing. And cloning is already a real thing, right? It's not perfected. And it's very complicated, and I can talk you through the genetics of how it will never be the exact animal that it was, if you'd like. But the point is, it's already possible. Like, there are groups working on species like the passenger pigeon, which is a species we used to have in the billions here in North America that's extinct. Basically, to summarize it, you can pull some DNA out of, fossilized or not fossilized, but museum specimens of passenger pigeon and collected ones and feathers and tissue and things like that. And you can for simplistic sake, let's say, inject it into a very close living relative of a different pigeon, and through a little bit of tweaking, you get a passenger pigeon. So it's the science is already there. There's a fantastic TED Talk called "The Dawn of De-Extinction," by the way, that explains it far better than I just did.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing. Yeah. So long story short, in our future, you will absolutely, I believe, we will absolutely have the science and technology to de-extinct creatures.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
We are all.
my
You
brain's
just
kind of reeling.
you just freaked us out even more right now
pretty
in
nuts.
a great way.
But even to the sci-fi of it with dinosaurs in particular, could that be something like dinosaurs? I just can't wrap my head around that idea.
I believe so. I don't know exactly how the process goes, but 15 years ago, if you said, "Can you make meat in a lab?" the answer was definitely not. Right.
Right.
Today, you can buy meat made in a lab.
What would be the species that you found? I guess that's the most ancient species that would or is still alive today.
Interesting. I mean, it depends how far you break it down. Like there are species that have remained unchanged through evolutionary time for hundreds of millions of years. Coelacanth is 666 million years old. It's a fish that lives in the ocean, right? There are microorganisms far older than that have remained unchanged since, as far as we can tell, the beginning of time for this planet. That being said, like what's something that's relatable? Think of like crocodiles, right?
Okay.
Crocodiles are like perfect. And what I mean by that is they haven't changed in their evolution for hundreds of millions of years because they basically peaked.
Yeah.
And what I mean by peaked is like they changed, they warped, they evolved to be this perfect predator in their environment. They can go long periods of time without food. They can sneak up on stuff. They can eat stuff. You know what I mean? They can reproduce easily. So they just haven't changed in a long time. Like they've just remained the same animal that they've been for millions of years.
I mean, they're so cool. Why would they change?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there? Do you have like Moby Dick? Do you have your whale? Is there a particular species that you would just love to encounter?
There's lots, and there's lots of like known species that are on my bucket list. But my Moby Dick, so to speak, is the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger. So it's probably the most iconic animal that we've driven to extinction in the last couple hundred years, and it's earned like, and I'm not a cryptid guy, but it's earned like a Bigfoot status in the sense of like there's constant reported sightings of it. People believe it's there. There's people telling you I've seen it 100%. So those pictures on the left that you're seeing, those are the real animal. That's from the Hobart Zoo right before it died in captivity. And then, you're seeing taxidermied specimens. So this is a thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger, marsupial wolf. This is a marsupial, a.k.a. a kangaroo, that looks like a dog.
I was going to say.
It has the jaws of a wolf, yeah.
It looks like a
stripes of a
hyena
tiger.
mixed with a zebra. Like, it's fascinating. And when's the last time this animal was spotted?
Well, spotted probably yesterday. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And in the sense of it's Bigfoot in its nature, in the sense of like reported sightings come in weekly in Tasmania and Australia. I personally believe that it's still out there in very small numbers in very isolated pockets. And I'll be planning on launching an expedition to a whole new region, Papua New Guinea, to look for this animal probably late 2020, maybe mid 2020. So still working on the details on that, but I believe it's out there, and that's my great white whale. I've been on two very lengthy expeditions looking for this animal already. One in Tasmania, one in northern Australia. So I'm just going to keep moving north in its range. I go to Papua New Guinea next.
Do you have any pets? Or do these animals take up most of your animal-loving heart?
I have 91 pets at home.
91.
No way.
Yeah, my wife did a math problem once she's a school teacher for her students. So that includes like all the goldfish in the fish pond and like things like that. But realistically, we have quite a lot of pets. So we live on an acre in Santa Barbara. And
nice.
it's beautiful up in the hills. And we are like an unofficial rescue. So like
that's great.
Yeah, anybody that finds something that needs a home or is abandoned ends up at our house. And this was never the intention. Like, we love animals, duh. But, that we never wanted to, like, be a rescue facility or anything like that. Like, I travel 8 months out of the year and blah, blah, blah. But we started taking in things that needed a home, and it grew and grew and grew, and it's like a full-time ordeal.
So is it like dogs, cats?
Less
horses?
of those.
It's less of those?
I mean, we have 3 dogs, no cats. We have maybe 15 or 20 turtles in the pond, 2 giant sulcata tortoises, African spurred tortoises, mini horse, mini donkey, 2 miniature pigs. One was a rescue from Hurricane Katrina. The other came from a family that got divorced, and then they both moved into like condos, so couldn't have a pig anymore from a ranch. A bunch of peacocks, chickens, guinea fowl, turkeys. I mean, it's just a mess.
It's a zoo, basically. You live in a zoo.
Do you name them all?
Sort of. Not really. Like I'm such a nerd. I call all the turtles by their scientific names, like their Latin names. Donkey is Donkey. The miniature horse is Felice, like Feliz Navidad, because we got him on Christmas.
Nice.
Buttons is the pig that had that name already because she was rescued from Hurricane Katrina. And Reagan is the other pig that we got, which also already had that name. So, like, it's like a blend.
That's great.
And it's not a mess. It's actually very organized and very fun. And, like, it is like a petting zoo. Like, we're constantly building and changing things around. But it's a mess in the sense of we can't say no to an animal in need. It's terrible.
Understand. Well, Forrest, if you run out of room, my mother is taking animals in every single day.
I thought you were going to say we could put your mother in the zoo. You got a nice pen for her.
I have.
What's
she
her
might
Latin
not
name?
like it, but yeah, her species name is Mrs. Reilly, I guess.
So I guess we have time for one more question for us,
Sure.
unfortunately, as much as I would talk to you for hours
I
because
could
it's
talk for
fascinating. So, you kind of fell into this world as a kid because you moved to Zimbabwe, and that's where you grew up. But do you think this is your calling? Do you think what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
This is my calling in life. This is what I'm meant to do. If I wasn't doing it for television, I'd just be doing it as a scientist. But it's more impactful, in my opinion, doing it for television because I reach so many people. I get hundreds of messages a day from kids saying, I want to grow up and be a biologist, and that's to me, that's the greatest prize of all.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for being here. If you want to catch his show, Forrest Galante is on Extinct or Alive on Animal Planet. Thank you to Mark Reilly. Thank you, Perri. Christian, Alex in the booth. You guys have a wonderful weekend. If you're going to yell about space movies, do it in a kind way. I hope you enjoy the weekend and see you on Monday.
Yo, Alex. Sharks are dope, dude. I love sharks. I want to swim with sharks so bad. I held a nurse shark one time. That was cool. No, what? Alex, gosh. I did kill a spider this morning. Sorry.